got a gangster in a suit. Y'all. Yes, you.
Hey, look, you man, I will kick your. Son of.
Jack. Jack!
The film begins with a scene where an old lady drives her car to a store. The elderly woman tries to guide a local kid onto the right path. He had just stolen a candy from the store. She tells the cashier to call the police and explains that one must pay for their actions. The boy apologized to the cashier and ran home. At that moment, 2 robbers entered the store.
Yo, Osama, get behind the register now!
And after taking the money from the register, they cold-bloodedly shot the cashier. The woman managed to hide behind a shelf, but she screamed at the gunshot and they found her. Many people came to Evelyn Mercer's funeral, including her adopted sons. Near the house where they had grown up, the police were already watching them. One cop says to another that the oldest of the sons is named Bobby Mercer, nicknamed the Michigan Mauler. Jack is the youngest of the brothers. He doesn't look like a troublemaker, but he's just as reckless as his older brother. Jeremiah is the 3rd brother. He looks more like a law-abiding citizen than the others. The 4th, Angel, a soldier, for some reason didn't show up. Evelyn had been a kind mother to them. She took hundreds of children out of the orphanage and found them homes. 4 of them were the most hopeless troublemakers that she couldn't place anywhere. So, Evelyn adopted them herself. The brothers know Lieutenant Green well. They all grew up in the same neighborhood. Bobby is determined to deal with his mother's killers. He knows how the cops operate and doesn't trust them. Later, at Evelyn's house, the 4th brother joins the others. He missed his flight and didn't make it to the funeral. At the house, they recall their childhood and go off to their old rooms, soaked in nostalgia. They rarely gather together. The stern Bobby took their mom's room and soon started crying. Angel decided to visit his old acquaintance Sophia, who lives nearby. The brothers advise him not to. She has a man, but he doesn't listen. Soon they are half naked, running away from some gangster. Angel brings the flighty woman to their house. She now plans to live with them. Bobby is against it and tells Angel everything he thinks. The guys fool around and fight, while the youngest is busy with the memorial lunch. The brothers remember how Evelyn taught them manners. She would correct them for smacking or putting elbows on the table. Or she would notice that someone had gotten a new tattoo.
More tattoos, Angel?
Without finishing lunch, Bobby convinced the others to go play hockey. They play rough and beat up some local guys in the process. It had been a long time since they had spent time together like this. After hockey, the brothers came to claim the inheritance. The lawyer handed over various documents. Some of them learned information about their biological parents, except for Angel. There was not a single document saved for him. The brothers quickly divided the cash and went to the warehouse Jeremiah had recently bought to start a new business. After that, they hung out at a bar to have something stronger to drink. The older ones mocked Jack, who fancied himself a cool rocker. The bartender came over, offered condolences, and began talking about a local gang that was running wild. Angel, Bobby, and Jack were determined to go looking for their adoptive mother's killers. Jerry, the family man, decided to go home. The remaining brothers questioned the bartender about what he knew. Then they decided to arm themselves. Bobby gave one brother a pistol, the second a canister of gasoline, and took a shotgun for himself.
What do I get? To come with us? Here you go, sweetheart. Poke him with that. Oh, thanks. You're welcome.
The trio barged into a bar where some punks were having fun, shouting, "Police!" A few thugs remained, and together with their girlfriends, they were made to sit on the couches. The main one was doused in gasoline, and they started asking questions.
This is not the talking part, okay? This is the listening part.
He claimed to have been a witness and should have seen the killers while hanging out at the basketball court. But the murder happened at 11 and the lights at the court go out at 10. That means he wasn't there anymore. But they didn't believe him and took him to the court to see for themselves. And yes, the lights really do go out, so they let him go. The witness had been paid off. The first lead didn't work out, and the brothers returned home empty-handed. Bobby suspected that Evelyn herself might have been the target, and the robbery was just a cover. In the morning, Jerry joined the trio. Together, they went to the store owner to ask him to show them the recording of their mother's murder. After watching the footage, they concluded that there was no point in killing her. The money was already taken, and she hadn't seen their faces. It was a pure execution. One person had allegedly heard the shots. The police had talked to him the longest. After finding out the description of the witness, a guy named Safra, the brothers went to the basketball court where he often hung out. Bobby interrupted the game and started teasing the players, then hit one of them in the nose with a ball and immediately pulled out his gun. The thug started talking about his mother, who had been cold-bloodedly killed. Upon hearing the description, one kid tried to run. Jack gave chase, and Angel blocked the back exit. Bobby saw that they had caught him and wrapped up his speech. Apparently, the guy was trying to warn someone, and he was his brother Damien. The description matched him. After searching through the athlete's stuff, they found out where he lived. Jerry disappeared again. He had to take his daughters to gymnastics. The other brothers waited for Damien in the car. Soon he showed up. The brothers ran after him. Seeing the gun in Bobby's hands, the man got scared and took off. When he got to his apartment, he unleashed 2 Rottweilers on Bobby. Angel scared the dogs off with a fire extinguisher. Damien, of course, had a rope prepared for just such a case. He rappelled down from the 6th floor, shooting back as he went. Bobby couldn't think of anything better than to cut the rope. Damien hit the pavement flat and started begging for an ambulance. They offered him a deal. They'd call an ambulance in exchange for names. As they were leaving, the poor guy gave in and pointed to 2 people who had paid him for false testimony. They needed to be found at the casino. Arriving at the casino, the Mercers quickly spotted the 2 killers based on the description, but the guys noticed the suspicious trio and immediately opened fire. The brothers chased the pair by car. Due to the snow, visibility on the road was poor. Angel shot the driver with a pistol, and he crashed into a snowbank. Then Bobby rammed their car, but the chase didn't end there. Eventually, Bobby shoved the criminal's car, causing it to spin, and then flip completely. Angel and Bobby first beat up the gangsters and then cold-bloodedly took them out, just like they had done to their mom. The next morning, Lieutenant Green and Detective Fowler arrived at the crime scene. Of course, afterward, they paid a visit to the Mercers. Dr. Oshamarf told them about Evelyn's death. Bobby denied any involvement, no matter what happened, but Fowler showed him a hair that was found on one of the dead hitmen. However, Bobby knew this was an old setup. He wasn't going to be tricked into confessing. Green asked Bobby to share if he found anything, but Bobby remained silent. Gang leader Victor Sweet was scolding his men for hiring local shooters, when they should have found hitmen from another city. He forced the fat guy, Evan, to eat off the floor. Evan's wife protested, and ended up having to eat beside her husband. Sweet ordered them to find out who had killed the shooters. The brothers, meanwhile, wanted to find out who had hired them. Sophia convinced Angel not to go anywhere.
Just like when we were 16.
When they were left alone, an insurance agent came regarding their mother's life insurance policy. It turned out that Jerry had been paying her life insurance on a large amount. At that moment, Sophia started freaking out when she saw a pack of condoms she was allergic to. Jerry shut the door on her so he could talk to the agent. His business was on the verge of bankruptcy, and now the brother would receive $400,000. In the shooter's apartment, a serious arsenal of weapons was found. Around the same time, Angel discovered that Jerry had gotten involved with gangsters. Which gangsters exactly? A man from City Hall might know. He's the one who shut down Jerry's business and bankrupted him. In addition to the weapons, a camera with photos of Evelyn was found in the shooter's place. In the pictures, she's seen together with the lawyer who executed the will. All 4 brothers barged into his house. The loudmouth Sophia showed up too, and started screaming at Angel in the middle of the street. Just then, the lawyer arrived. Bobby threw him into the snow, lifted his shirt, and started smacking his bare belly. Why had he lied to them, saying he'd only seen Evelyn once? Turned out, the man had a relationship with their mother. Bobby apologized for the rough treatment, and for the broken window.
I apologize, Mr. Bradford.
While Bobby was sitting on the toilet and Jack was taking a shower, Angel decided to tell them that the 4th brother hadn't been entirely honest. He was bankrupt. They also needed to visit an official named Douglas. The lawyer was also questioned by the lieutenant, who said that on the day of the murder, Evelyn had submitted some kind of report to the police. At that moment, 2 of the brothers were waiting for Councilman Douglas in a parking lot and started questioning him about the gangster Jerry had gotten involved with. He ignored them and sat down in his car, but the interior had already been doused in gasoline. Bobby poured more on top and picked up a lit cigarette. Victor Sweet, the councilman immediately said. At the same time, Jerry received his check. Angel was following him. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Green was reviewing the surveillance footage. When Evelyn had come to the station on the day of the murder, she had spoken with Detective Fowler, but he never mentioned it. Bobby found out that Victor Sweet had once been a lackey for his uncle, until he drowned him in the river and took over the whole neighborhood, and Jerry owed money to half the city. Right now, he walked up to Evan at the bowling alley and handed him a bag of cash. Jerry was receiving a large life insurance payout from his mom's death. The brothers approached Evan and, threatening him with a gun, took the bag full of money from him. Then we're shown how the councilman came to Sweet and told him he'd been questioned by both a cop and Bobby Mercer. He was scared and nervous, but Sweet realized the official had sold him out and sent him to sit at the kid's table. During a poker game, he mocks one of his subordinates and threatens to screw his hot fiancée, saying she's way too good for him. Later, he sends the women and children away and executes the councilman. The brothers are on edge. They can't wait to confront Jerry. When he comes to their mother's house, Bobby punches him right away and forces him to answer for Evelyn's murder. But Jerry says she insured her life herself. He just paid the premiums. He paid all her bills. He was the only one who had taken care of her all these years. Sweet had sabotaged his business, and now he needed a $20,000 bribe just to get a green light at City Hall. While they're arguing, someone knocks on the door. Jack opens it and gets hit in the face with a snowball. He runs after the guy. The guy suddenly turns around and shoots the youngest brother. But the killer didn't get the chance to finish off Jack. Bobby shot him with a shotgun. At that moment, a whole gang jumped out of the van. Jack took a burst of bullets to the legs, and the rest of the brothers rushed back inside. Jack called for help, and the Mercers opened fire. 3 gangsters were already sent to the other side. Bobby tried to shoot through the wall to get the others. One of the attackers came through the back door, and Jerry stabbed him with a knife. Angel shot another one from the second floor. They ran out of bullets, and Bobby beat the last shooter to death with a brick. Bobby himself was nearly run over by a van, but Jerry crashed into it just in time. Jack was bleeding out and soon died. Bobby asked the driver for confirmation that Sweet had sent them, and then shot him.
My little brother, you mother. Thank Victor Sweet.
Green asks what happened. The lieutenant himself tells them that Sweet killed their mother because she wanted to put the gangster behind bars after she found out he was destroying her son's life.
So how we gonna deal with all this?
Self-defense, wasn't it?
Green went to the pool hall to confront his corrupt partner. Every word out of Fowler's mouth was a lie. Green picked up a pool cue and smacked the dirty cop with it, then calmly headed to his car. But Fowler chased him down on the street and shot him. The bastard immediately reported over the radio that 2 black men had shot his partner. Green and Jack were buried.
Fire!
The brothers realized that they would no longer get help from the police. Bobby regretted that they had come home and didn't know what to do next. He didn't want to lose any more brothers. Jerry suggested giving Sweet the entire $400,000 so that he would leave them alone. He met with Evan and passed along his offer. They agreed to meet in 3 hours, but first, Fowler needed to be dealt with. Jerry cashed the check and sent his family far away. His wife asked Bobby to take care of her husband. Angel found a kid in a field and gave him $20 and a bunch of chocolate bars so that he would help them. The red-haired kid knocked on Fowler's door and offered to buy some chocolate. The cop got distracted, and Angel snuck into his house. He threw a bag over his head, tightened a belt, and began strangling the dirty cop. Jerry walked out to Evan with the money. 2 more gangsters were waiting for him outside. They searched him and drove him to the boss. Angel didn't kill Fowler. Even if he was a dirty cop, it was too serious a crime. At the same time, Sophia went to the police and said her boyfriend was planning to kill a cop. A team was immediately sent to Fowler's place. He was glad to hear the siren. The car with Jerry stopped in the middle of the frozen lake. A hole had already been cut in the ice for him. Angel said he would tell the police that the scumbag had killed his partner. And so, what if I did? No one will believe Mercer. But Angel was wearing a wire, and the lieutenant in the van heard their conversation. Still, Fowler didn't give up and lunged at Angel. Sweet arrived at the meeting spot. "Let's drown this idiot and get out of here." The gangster in a fur coat got out of the car and looked at the pile of money. Sweet asked, for these $400,000, was he supposed to forgive the brothers and forget about them?
I just buried my mama and my brother, and I think that's payment enough, Vic.
Actually, Jerry had another offer. He'd rather give the money to the working men who were surrounding Sweet. The gangster was sure that Fowler would cover for him. He'd be there any minute. But Fowler had other things to deal with. He had taken Angel hostage. The cops didn't understand what was going on. They had come to help him, and now he was doing something crazy. The cop opened fire, and a sniper took him out. Angel hadn't been wearing a wire. He had tricked Fowler. Sweet wondered which of his men would dare to take him out. And then Bobby appeared on the horizon. Mercer challenged his mother's killer to a fist fight. The fight turned into a brawl. Bobby beat Sweet and knocked him out. His former subordinates picked up the body and threw it into the ice hole. After that, the Mercers faced intense interrogation at the police station, but all their statements came down to them messing with the moms of the cops who were questioning them. The women gave their men airtight alibis. You shouldn't talk badly about someone else's mom. But he talked about mine, didn't he? Did he say details? Of course. The brothers started restoring the house. The local boys were sad that Evelyn wasn't coming back, and Bobby once again saw his mother.